Hi, everybody! Michael Bryce, a successful escort, is seen at his lavish home with Takai, a Japanese arms dealer, and his wives, along with a convoy of bodyguards from his 8AA service. 2 years later, Michael has fallen and is unmotivated with scratches on his car and watch. However, he remains professional and escorts his erratic client up a building to safety, despite the client's 8AA rating being downgraded. Michael is forced to take down several people as he calls for cleanup. Call the bomb squad or fire department as there are explosives present. While in the car, the client notes the smell and reminisces about the past. The story shifts to Belarus, where a military caravan from President Dokovich's team enters the home of a man who wrote a critical passage about the country's state of affairs. The man's family gets dragged in and they face the consequences. Later, the man recounts his story at the International Criminal Court, stating that he was taken to one of the president's internment camps for 3 years without any evidence after his family's execution. Hearsay Sanchez plays Lady Justice in an ongoing trial against former President Dokovich for alleged atrocities. The prosecution's case is weak due to emotional testimonies without strong evidence and unhelpful witnesses. The hitman, Darius Kincaid, is offered a chance to free his innocent wife in exchange for testifying against Dokovich. Kincaid is escorted by triple agent Amelia Russell, who will ensure his security, despite Kincaid's confidence that the highly trained officers in Europe are no match for him. Despite Kincaid's preference for working alone, he is encouraged to take Sonia's safety seriously. As they travel, Kincaid's observations are ignored as the agents assure him of the secure route. However, their worst fears are realized when they are ambushed and outnumbered. Kincaid and Amelia work together to survive and reach a safe house, but Kincaid refuses to be cuffed. Interpol is calling, but Kincaid decides their next move. Amelia calls Michael for help, instructing him to bring 3 batches of blood to an address. Michael playfully denies her request, but she threatens to expose his work to Interpol, forcing him to agree. Meanwhile, the director realizes there is a leak and sends the assistant director to gather information from Dokovich and increase security around Sonia. In Amsterdam, Sonia receives a call from her attorney, but her husband's interruption makes it worse. In a Dutch prison, Darius performs surgery on himself and advises Sonia to make a shank for protection. Sonia becomes concerned, but Darius assures her everything is fine and serenades her. Michael arrives at the safe house where Amelia explains the situation, but Michael is stuck in the past and blames her for his downfall. Darius overhears the conversation and gets up to listen closely. Michael and Amelia have a tense conversation about their messy breakup, but she points him to his high-value transport. As they gaze longingly at each other, it becomes clear they have a history. Michael gains the upper hand in a physical altercation, but Darius faints from blood loss and they carry him back to his room. The former president listens to a news broadcast while the Interpol assistant director, a mole, talks to him about wanting payment. Despite things not going according to plan, Darius is an easy target and the mole demands payment. Dokovich's anger flares as he recalls his dedication to serving his country's people only to be locked up. Meanwhile, Darius regenerates health, and Michael expresses frustration over protecting someone who nearly killed him. Amelia convinces Michael to escort Darius to safety and promises to help him regain his elite status. Michael reluctantly agrees, and Amelia assures him he won't see her again as a bonus. The director remains clueless about the assistant director's treachery, but receives a report that a safe house was activated without authentication, suspecting Darius. Meanwhile, the bad guys, led by Ivan, make their own preparations and demand Darius's head. Darius wakes up in handcuffs and complains about his clothes and underwear. Darius prefers going commando. Michael protects Darius from Interpol and the henchmen, but Darius insists on making noise. They head for the rooftop but are detected by a helicopter, prompting Michael to quickly improvise and escape using the scaffolding. They quietly get into Michael's car, which Darius calls theft-proof due to its poor condition. Darius begins reminiscing, but Michael interrupts him, revealing he knows about Darius's past. Darius reads Michael's past and how he joined the CIA and opened his own shop. Michael suggests laying low, and Darius agrees, giving him electrolytes to stay hydrated. They almost slip away, but facial recognition identifies them, and Amelia gets reprimanded for her connection to Michael. Meanwhile, the assistant director keeps secrets and makes a call to search for a new car. Darius notices Michael is bleeding and reminds him of an apprentice he once had who killed someone. Michael defends his AEDA status, but Darius digs into his career and Michael explains how love led to his downfall. Darius asks why Michael got dumped, and Michael changes the topic to their different methods and how he's never been shot. However, Darius brings up an instance where Michael was shot. Darius questions Michael's AAA service, but Michael insists on preparation over taking a bullet. Their conversation turns into a singing battle. Meanwhile, Sonia is asked about Darius's location, and they implore her to consider his safety, but she believes he's unkillable. The henchman tracks down Michael's car, and a signal leads them to the boys. Michael and Darius take a longer route, but when Darius needs to pee, they are ambushed. Michael panics, but Darius takes control, and they come up with a plan. Their plan is interrupted when Darius picks up a phone from a dead henchman for no reason. Despite their setbacks, they head towards the bad guys. Darius and Michael cross a cow field, and Darius jokes about Michael's love life. Michael gets annoyed, and Darius shares a flashback of how he met his wife, Sonia. They then get a ride from some nuns in a minibus, and Darius ponders who is more wicked. Michael is surprised to hear Darius's backstory during their peaceful ferry ride. Darius took his first life at the age of 16 or 17 when he avenged a local preacher's murder. Despite being a bodyguard for a dictator, Darius claims he is one of the good guys and admits he doesn't always know everything about his clients, similar to Michael. They successfully enter the safe house, but Michael forgets the passcode, so Darius uses his wall hacking skills to get in. Meanwhile, Doka Zicky's lawyer questions Darius's credibility as a witness in court, but the court rules in favor of Tony's release. The bad guys have a backup plan. Michael calls Amelia with a not-so-great update, prompting her anger. They need to get Darius to court, and Interpol is on the lookout for him. Darius buys flowers, and Michael watches his every move, taking care of any potential danger. Darius leaves the flowers on a tower overlooking Sonia's location. Darius is feeling sentimental and comments on Michael's past with Amelia, questioning how much he would do for her. Michael is irritated, but opens up about Amelia exposing his client to the Japanese guy at Popcorn Sour, causing him to be killed. It's been 2 years, but Michael still struggles to move on from it. Darius adds a lesson on women not liking to be forgiven, as it implies they did something wrong. Michael and Darius exchange insults, and Michael walks away to drink his frustration. Darius heads to the court trial, and both Interpol and the bad guys are after him. Michael complains about how he ruined the word motherfucker while a high-speed chase ensues. Darius escapes on a boat, and Michael follows closely in traffic. The bad guys shoot at them, but Michael uses his AAA skills to keep them safe. Darius fights back against the bad guys as Michael provides cover. They encounter a bazooka, but Michael manages to take the shooter down with Darius's help. Ivan is sent back to Dokic, likely for Plan B. Michael is then interrogated about Aid's whereabouts, but he doesn't know. He's saved by his partner, and they continue on the road, with Darius apologizing for the earlier car trouble. Michael blames himself for everything and has given up hope for Amelia. Darius reminds him that life just happens and asks how he met Amelia. It was at a client's funeral where she was working undercover. Darius loses his cool and reminds Michael of the importance of their mission. They spot a Jaguar and try to blend in, but Darius is not amused and takes care of the deployed airbags before switching seats with Kylie. In court, Amelia sees the assistant director and Michael apologizes to her. The bad guys spot them, and they split up. Darius goes off-road while Michael takes the subway. They take out the bad guys, and Ivan chases Michael to a hardware store. Michael gets help from a handyman, and they make it to their destination, cutting it close. In the courtroom, Darius testifies and reveals that he never worked for Dokic and refused an assassination job offer when he witnessed Dokic ordering the slaughter of a village. He presents hard evidence causing a commotion, and Dokic signals for Plan B before confessing to being guilty on all charges. Amidst the chaos, the former dictator takes aim and shoots, causing concern for Darius's safety. Michael urges Darius to finish off Dokovic despite this. Dokovic plans to hijack a hospital helicopter, but another mole takes care of his escorts. While Darius reaches the rooftop to confront Dokovic, he is attacked by a knife-wielding henchman. Meanwhile, Amelia is being choked by a rat, but Michael arrives just in time to save her. In the end, Darius catches up to Dokovic. In the end, Dokic is defeated, and Darius's deal is granted. Sonia will be free. Michael and Amelia reconcile, and the couple reunites for a slow dance. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.